Howdy freeze dryers, welcome back to the Live Life Simple Kitchen. One of the most requested videos that I get is for freeze-dried pizza, but there's just one problem. Freeze-dried pizza just really doesn't work. It either turns out extra soggy or it turns out really dry, which is great if you want pizza chips or if you want soggy pizza. I don't really like either one of those. So today I have a type of pizza that will freeze dry, and I'm gonna give you the recipe coming up. Alright, so I bent the truth just a little bit on this recipe. It's not pizza, it's actually pizza soup. I love soups because soups do so well in the freeze dryer, and I like this recipe because it's very flexible. You can change any of the ingredients to kind of put your own twist on it. This recipe is great because you can serve it with garlic bread or breadsticks or something like that to get your pizza crust, and the taste of the pizza soup is exactly like pizza, and you can put your own twist on it. So if you want a certain kind of pizza, you can change some of the ingredients that I'm going to share with you today. This recipe is going to be closest to probably like a supreme pizza. So if you want to make it my way, well, let's start with this ingredients. You're definitely going to need a large stock pot or a large pot to make this in, because it makes quite a bit. So we're going to start out with some mushrooms. We're going to need 2 8-ounce package of button mushrooms. You're going to want 2 zucchini. If they're small zucchini, you probably want 3 zucchini. A couple of yellow onions. You'll want some bell peppers, basically about 2 cups worth. Then you're going to want 4 cans of fire roasted tomatoes, 2 cans of our tomato sauce or 4 cans of the smaller ones, and then 4 cans of any kind of white beans. I'm using Great Northern beans today. For the spices, we're going to want some garlic powder, some basil, red pepper flakes, and oregano. And last but not least, you're going to want the meat of your choice. So for today's recipe, I'm actually going to hold the meat out because I'm going to add it in later. That way I can put in whichever kind of meat I want. So you could add in chicken, beef, whatever it is. So what you want to start with if you're going to make the recipe with meat is cook your meat up in the saucepan and just kind of separate that out for now. To get our soup started, we're going to want to use our big stock pot or a big pot like this, and just put 2 to 3, 4 tablespoons of water, vegetable bouillon, chicken stock, something like that. And the absence of oil in these freeze drying recipes is very important. So once our vegetable bouillon or water or whatever you're using is hot, we're gonna add our 2 cups of diced peppers, and then our 2 yellow onions, also diced. Then we're going to add in our 2 zucchini. If you're using small zucchini, you might want to add a 3rd one in there. And then last, we're going to throw in our 16 ounces or 1 pound of diced mushrooms. And you might be thinking, well, this is missing some cheese and you can't have pizza without cheese. So I would recommend freeze drying the cheese separately. And once this is all freeze dried and then you have it all rehydrated back to pizza soup, just take a little bit of that freeze dried cheese, sprinkle it over the top, let it rehydrate for a second, and then you have your cheese for your pizza. We're gonna cook all these chopped ingredients down for just a few minutes, 3-4 minutes probably, until these onions start to get translucent. And then if you need to, you can add a little bit more bouillon or whatever you are cooking in, just to keep the vegetables from sticking. Now we're going to add our 4 cans of fire roasted tomatoes. With the juices, we're going to want 2 cans of our tomato sauce or 4 cans of the smaller cans, 4 cans of our Great Northern beans or some type of white bean, whatever you're using. Just make sure that those beans are rinsed, of course. And then we're going to throw in a couple extra cups of water. For the spices, we're gonna do a tablespoon and a 1/3 of oregano, and then 2 teaspoons of basil, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and then a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And then you're gonna wanna hit this with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper to taste. So it's starting to smell really good. It smells a lot like pizza in here. And we're gonna bring this up to a boil after we cover it, and then once that happens, we're gonna let this simmer on low for just about 10 minutes until all those vegetables are nice and cooked. And then if you're making this recipe today with the meat already in it, you can add that right now, whether you're using chicken or bacon or beef or whatever it is. You'd want that to simmer for 10 minutes with the vegetables and everything else. And if you're using meat, make sure that you rinse or put them on a paper towel. Try and get as much as the oil, the fat, all that stuff off of the meat meat. Just if you're going into long-term storage with it, it's really gonna help out with that. Okay, let's see how far this gets us. Now that this is all done, I wanna make sure that we're getting all even portions. I wanna make sure this is well mixed. Before we go on to our silicone lined trays, well, our recipe ended up doing 4 trays on a large freeze dryer. This would actually fill up a medium perfect, I think. The trays are a little bit low on the large. I have a 5th tray open, so I think what this would be good for is if you did a garlic bread or something, you could do the garlic bread on here. I did some tortillas, some wheat tortillas, and I think that'll kind of help satisfy that craving of your crust that you normally get with pizza. You could also use this 5th tray to add some cheese if you want to top this with cheese when you rehydrate it. So what I'm gonna do is pop some dividers in the 10 portion position so I can kind of get some serving sizes out of this. We're gonna throw a lid on top of all of these, and then we're gonna throw these in the deep freeze so we can get them nice and cold. And then I will meet you down in the freeze drying room and we'll get some freeze dried pizza soup going. All right, our freeze dried pizza soup is ready to rock and roll. So please take a minute to subscribe if you haven't already to Live Life Simple. We do freeze drying, we do some homesteading, we do some gardening on this channel. And while you're there, make sure you click that bell to get notifications of future videos that come out. That's every Sunday at 8 a.m. for us. And if you like what we're doing, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Let us know. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Lets YouTube know that we have some content that you freeze dryers need to see. And if you're new to freeze drying, make sure you check out our Facebook group and our MeWe group. Those are a totally free resource. And while you're in there, make sure you use the magnifying glass. You can search old threads, you can search keywords, you can find answers to all the questions you have. And if you want to find out more information on the freeze dryer, make sure you follow our affiliate link down in the description of the video. You can click on show more, that'll get you to all the links that you need to see. It'll take you to Harvestright's website. We get a small commission from that. It helps us provide content. It helps us maintain our social media groups. It helps us do free giveaways in those groups. And it helps us develop new products to streamline the freeze drying process, which those products can be found at freezedryingsupplies.com. Now let's get back to the freeze dried pizza soup in 3, 2, 1. Woo. And I'm just going to use my infrared, look for cold spots. We want to look for something that's a big jump into, or a big decrease in temperature that's close to frozen. That's going to let you know that it's not done. I have a video that's coming out pretty soon that'll show just kind of a quick overview of how I do that. And the dividers did a really nice job of separating all these portions. I think I'm going to throw one portion in here along with some chips. That'll be our test bag. And then I'm going to vacuum seal it in the Avid Armor. And I just pre-ordered my new Avid Armor. They just came out with a new model that has a vacuum seal attachment. It's kind of their upgraded version, so I'm really excited to try that out. And I will of course do a video with a new review of that whenever I get it, which should be in a couple weeks. All right, let's get a close-up of what our pizza soup looks like. All right, we're gonna add some boiling water to this. And I'm gonna throw a cover on it. We're gonna let this sit for about 3-4 minutes. It really tastes like pizza a lot. And I think if you had breadsticks, you would get that crust flavor and it would really taste like pizza. So there you go, there's my solution to freeze-dried pizza. You definitely get the pizza flavor, but you don't get the pizza slice necessarily, but an inexpensive recipe. It's pretty quick to throw together and it's a winner. In the meantime, this is Retired at 40. Remember to live life simple and we'll catch you next week.